Fight of the night was Kai Kara France and Royval, and then the performance of the nights went to Blachowicz and Adesanya. Those guys all won $50,000, so congratulations to them.
I was going to ask you about Adesanya. Clearly a performance of the night. Worthy, man. What did you think about him in there tonight?
Well, so much for fight of the year, but domination of the year. I mean, it was just, it was weird because, I mean, if you look at every other fight that Costa has had, he comes out and goes after people like they owe money, and I think he landed one jab in this fight. Didn't try to clinch in the fence, didn't try to put pressure, kept going back to the center of the octagon. It was very weird.
Yeah, it wasn't weird. I mean, do you think he was in his head? I mean, was it just the antics that slowed everything down? What happened?
You're gonna have to ask him that question. I have no idea. But you know, no matter what it was, Adesanya put on a clinic. I mean, the first 3 calf kicks busted up his leg. Then he hit him right on the side of the knee. Had a huge welt on the side of the knee. Then the shin to the eye, and just absolutely dismantled him and easily won the fight.
Yeah. He said he likes the idea of Jared Cannonier next if he wins. Does that sound like a good fight to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the fight if Cannonier wins.
Right.
And I love that about Israel. You know, he's ready for who's next. Who else thinks they can beat me? It's just, the kid is an absolute stud. Tonight, congratulations to, you know, him and Costa. They broke a bunch of records tonight, man. It's unbelievable. Their stare down, when we went live, their stare down was the biggest stare down ever, most viewed ever in UFC history. It beat Khabib and Conor by 1.5 million when the show started. I don't know what it's at now.
That's crazy. He was chatting you up afterwards. Was that really just about weight cutting the whole time? Was that?
Yeah, you know, 2 of his guys, you know, so yeah, he was all fired up about that. Listen, he's not wrong. You know, but that's not our place. That's the commission that handles that. But he's not wrong. Take 80 or 90% of anybody's money, they're going to show up. They're going to show up the right way.
You got a new light heavyweight champion as well. What did you think about Jan Blachowicz' performance tonight?
He looked awesome, man. He looked unbelievable. It was like he had a laser on that kick to the body, man. That thing kept landing right in the same place and was ripping Reyes apart. And I believe that was a huge factor in the fight.
Question. Immediately he calls out John Jones, basically. Can you tell us what is going on with John? I mean, would he come back down as heavyweight? What's up with him?
Listen, you guys know as much as I know about John Jones. But yeah, I like that he wants to fight John. Yeah. You know, he could have called out whoever the next contender is and whatever. The fact that, you know, these guys respect Jones enough, and the fact that, you know, they want to be the guy who beats the guy, I love it. Yeah.
Got to ask you about Diego Sanchez. You know, he told us coming into this fight that he's got 4 fights left on his deal. He wants to fight out that contract. I know you got a ton of respect for Diego Sanchez and everything he's done. Are you comfortable with him fighting out 4 fights?
I love Diego Sanchez. And I don't know. I don't know. It's something I got to think about, and it's obviously something that I got to talk to the guys about back when we get home in the office and see what everybody thinks. I want to do what's, you know, I got these guys now. You got Diego Sanchez, who fights his heart out every time he fights. He was part of Tough One. Everybody knows how I feel about those guys. And he's just a great person. Then you got Cowboy, who you can say all the same things about. And, you know, as these guys start to get older and start racking up some losses, it's tough to, you know. But Diego's like, I want to say, I don't know for sure off the top of my head, but he's like 3 out of his last 5 or something like that. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's the not fun part of this job.
For sure. A couple quick ones outside tonight. Conor McGregor made waves over the last 24 hours or so, talking about this. Well, first of all, sharing direct messages from you. Did that upset you that he kind of shared private conversations?
Listen, I've had people blowing me up left and right. I mean, everybody here knows. I mean, even the ladies, this is some man code stuff. You know, it's just something you don't do. It's one of the dirtiest things you can do. Which, by the way, you know, because we're just talking about Diego Sanchez, you know, and Diego Sanchez is in there in a private conversation that I was having with Conor. When you're the number 2 or 3 ranked guy in the world, and you're telling me that you want to fight, but you want to fight unranked 39-year-old Diego Sanchez in a main event in Los Angeles, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. How valid is this Pacquiao thing, though? Can you comment on that? I mean, is this a real thing that could happen?
I have no idea.
No idea?
Yeah. Listen, you guys have been asking me about Conor McGregor forever. Did you see Conor McGregor's tweet?
Which one? Well, I think
the retirement tweet?
Oh, yes.
I'm
yes.
retired.
Yep.
Birthday cake. I'm retired.
Fair enough. Last one for me. There was a report that came out tonight. Khamzat Chimaev, obviously everybody's excited about Khamzat, that said either Wonder Boy or Leon Edwards for December 19th. Can you give us any information on?
Where'd that come from?
Brazilian outlet, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that all the time. The Leon Edwards is not true, but we've offered it to Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy wants to fight Leon Edwards, so we'll see how this plays out. That's completely not true. Leon Edwards is not lined up to fight Khamzat. We were looking at Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy wants Leon, so we're nowhere on that thing. For anybody to report it, it's total fucking bullshit and typical MMA fucking silliness.
Dana, when you see Paulo Costa in the first round taunting and doing all this goofy stuff, like, that's all well and good to entertain people, but he's not winning the round. Do you sit there and get frustrated at a guy who's letting his opponent start to get a lead on him? Yeah,
it doesn't frustrate me. It's just, I mean, you guys know enough about the sport that if he fought the way he fights, look at the way he went after Yoel Romero, one of the most dangerous guys ever. And then he stays away. He stays on the outside, taking damage to that front leg. Then he gets, when he does rush in and get him up against the cage, he backs out to the center of the cage again. Just never tried to get in the clinch. I think he only landed a jab. Didn't really throw any punches at all, only threw kicks. It was very weird. I just sat there going, holy shit. And then obviously, Adesanya just went to work, picked them apart, piece by piece, made it look really easy.
You mentioned the records this fight set in terms of numbers leading up to it. Obviously, the fight itself was super anticipated. You'd promoted it as one of the greatest fights of the year, potentially. But is this also Fight Island playing a part again? Is it just something about this brand of Fight Island that just builds people's excitement?
Listen, the UFC is on fire right now. I mean, the records we broke tonight, we had like tons of records on social media. Social media records were off the charts, and all the numbers that are coming in are massive. And every time we're doing fights now, they're big. I mean, if you look at our social media, in the last year, UFC social media has gained 8 million followers in the last year. 2.5 million since Florida. Mine has gained 1 million since Florida. The whole sport is, it's on fire right now. Our numbers keep going up, our ratings keep going up, and it's all good.
Is part of that because it's not just like America that's had nothing to do for the past few months, it's the whole world's been shut down. So are you getting followers from all over the world, or is it just America it's building up in?
Yeah, I think it's because, I didn't listen to any of the fucking bullshit from the media, and I went, and I think people liked it, and people that never watched the sport before got into it and started to watch, and the growth has been phenomenal. I think that's a big part of it. It's not a coincidence that all these numbers have gone up since Florida.
How big do you anticipate Khabib Gaethje going to be then?
How big does what?
How big is Khabib Gaethje going to be?
Yeah, so the question is now, does Khabib Gaethje break the records that we broke tonight?
Wow. Last one from me. Earlier today, Nate Diaz put out a promotional video of himself and Masvidal, obviously saying round 4, wanting the rematch with Masvidal. Have you got any progress on that fight?
No.
Is it possible that you guys are looking at Masvidal versus Colby instead.
Yeah.
Is that because
It's very possible.
Is that just because negotiations with Nate didn't go anywhere?
No. I don't even know if we talked to Nate yet. But yeah, after the Colby fight, I mean, how do you not make that fight? That's a fight that makes sense.
If
The Nate Diaz rematch is going to be there no matter what happens.